Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner. This is episode number 274, and this is a Halloween double feature. And seeing your reaction to that, Ross, just magnified with the millions of viewers out there that saw that, what I just did, magnifying your reaction a million times over, because I know we got a million viewers out there.
You've been sniffing the ether, Roy.
Anyway, with me tonight to discuss the classics, the 1958 classic, The Fly, and the classic, which is really scary, 1986 movie, The Fly. With me tonight is my friend, my co-host, the one and only Ross Amico. Hey, Ross.
Hey, Roy.
How are you?
You know what I feel like with this? I feel like that Grimm's fairy tale.
Uh-oh, we just froze. You just went into suspended animation, Ross. Now,
Are we there?
Yeah, we're here.
All I saw was black screens.
We just froze.
And you're frozen.
And I'm frozen, and I can
Which
hear
means
you.
I'm probably frozen.
No, you're good. Can you hear me now? Oh, shit. Oh, boy. We're off to a great start, Ross. You there?
Am I frozen or are you frozen? All I'm seeing is you frozen.
Yeah, I was frozen, but you were frozen. I'm telling you, it's the millions of viewers that came in. Our system could not handle all those people tuning in all at once.
No, I feel like that Grimm's fairy tale with the brave little tailor who's able to catch 7 flies at a. You remember that? That story. Well, we're doing 2 flies tonight.
Okay, there we go.
So
I'm sure the cultured folks out there do remembered it, and I just
the Grimm fairy tale crowd.
Oh, anyway, it's all good. Hey, I want to say hi to our viewers that are joining us. John Patterson is out there. Welcome, John. Oh, did you catch one, Ross?
I'm trying to hold the skeleton's hand.
You're connecting with bones.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, Randy Lee is saying happy Spocktober.
Spooktober.
Yes. Good to see you out there, Randy. And Randy, thank you again for the wonderful gift for last week's show. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that was
a lot of bubble gum, right, Andy?
I know. That was
Randy.
great. Shari's out there, and she's joining us from Canada. She's saying hello from Canada.
That's fly territory, Canada. Both films.
Hi, hon.
Set in
yes,
Canada.
Exactly. So we are well represented tonight.
Be very afraid, Sherry.
Be very afraid. May is joining us also from Canada. Welcome, May. Shari's saying she likes our background. And I also want to say hi to Mom and Glenn, too. They're joining Shari as well. So, hi, Mom. Hi, Glenn. And Bill's out there. I want to say hi to Bill. And he's with Mary. Hi, Bill. Hi, Mary. Thanks for being out there. And Shari's saying, I'm cracking myself up. I can't help it.
It's true. I didn't even have to say anything. Hi, Lou.
Hey, Lou. Good to see you out there. Lou's joining us from Rhode Island. And interesting enough, David Al Hedison, or I should say Al David Hedison, is from Rhode Island. So there you go. And Randy's saying the flies.
Nice.
Jeff Rubel, welcome. He's joining us from out west. Good to see you out there. And Bill's saying he was being teleported.
What would happen if we fused, Roy?
Oh, God help us.
We'd be the fly guys.
The fly guys.
Roy is not frozen.
You froze, Ross. So.
Yeah, see, he froze on my side, and I knew I was freezing on his side. So
yeah, and you froze, Ross, when I looked, but I didn't know if it was me or you. So anyway.
Yeah, well, it depends on it. It's all in the eye of the beholder, Roy.
Yeah, we'll have to discuss that Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
It's interesting enough that it was out in the first season, and it was the same season as the first Shatner episode. But I digress.
It was a good season.
It was. It was a good season, Jim. It really was. Sorry. Don is out there. Don Bethman. He's joining us from Delaware. Welcome, Don. And Bill said, brings a new look to the denial of service attack. Hey, and James is out there. James is joining us from Australia. Welcome again. Thanks for representing the Australian gang, James. Good to see you out there.
From Oz.
Yeah, and tomorrow, it's tomorrow in Australia.
Wow.
Tomorrow is yesterday, the Star Trek episode. All roads lead to Star Trek, right?
Mm.
Yeah, there we go. Anyway. So, Ross.
Yes.
Tell me, as I always like to ask, and you would think I was a pod if I did not.
Yeah.
Did you originally? I know you didn't probably see the original Fly movie in the movie theater, but I'm going to ask you anyway, and I'm also going to ask you, when did you see the original Fly? The movie?
Mm-hmm. Well, the original, I was a big, creature double feature guy. I was always watching Dr. Shock and all these Saturday afternoon creature features. So, I watched like every 50s horror movie, but I could swear that I saw The Fly because you never forget the ending. But I don't know if I saw it all the way through, or if I did, I forgot it somehow, which is so bizarre because it's such a powerful movie. And are you asking me when I saw the original, or you want to know about the remake?
No, the original from 1958.
The original, yeah, I would have seen it on TV. But this week was the first time that I remember that I must not have seen it all the way through or something. Yeah. Everybody has seen the ending of The Fly.
Right.
And I remember the gruesome beginning also. But I didn't remember the stuff in between. Maybe I drifted off when they were philosophizing or something in the middle. Maybe I went out and played or something for an hour and came back and saw the horrifying ending.
That's all about timing.
Yeah. But how about you? When did you see it?
Bill actually beat me to it, and that's when I saw it, Bill. He said the 4:30 movie on WABC in New York. It was on Channel 7 out of New York City. Now, I was kind of going back and forth if it was Channel 7 or if it was the movie that was on at Channel 9, because they used to run the movies. I believe it was a weekday movie on Channel 9 as well. And I don't know if that was I think they called it the $1 Million movie on Channel 9, and that was out of Sea Caucus in New York back in the day. But I think it was WABC, and that was the we'll have to do a show about the different promos and everything at some point. We get these great ideas when we're talking and doing the show, and then I forget about them. But do you remember watching and this is if you watched it out of New York, ABC 4:30 movie, and then they would have this animation of a camera, a guy on
Oh yeah, right.
And yeah,
sure.
And that's coming to mind. Okay. And I saw this probably, if I had to guess, 75, 74, 75, 76. Wow. It was probably in that time frame.
So the movie wasn't even 20 years old yet.
No.
Isn't that crazy?
I know. And at the time, it seemed like it was like such an old movie, right?
Sure,
it's like when we would watch and I'll say the original Superman movies, or TV episodes rather, from the 50s, and those were only like 22, 23 years old.
I know, they seemed ancient at the time. I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy though. Right. Gone with the Wind, sure. Yeah. Like how can I remember Tarantula and Them is memorable. Sure. I remember all those movies, but I didn't remember seeing The Fly all the way through. As I said, I've seen the ending, and I remember the opening of the movie. But yeah, I didn't remember just how good it was. Certainly, I don't know if you want to. All right, so the whole background of this. Roy said, "You want to do The Fly?" And I said, "Well, we should do both versions," because of course I'm thinking, what can you say about The Fly? But then I go back and watch The Fly, and it's like, oh my God, this is easily enough for 2 episodes, because you watch both versions, from 58 and 86.
Right.
And you're just thinking, because automatically, if you're going to talk about one, you're going to reference the other one if you've seen it.
Right.
And I thought, well, let's just do them both. And it turns out to be this epic undertaking. I've got all these notes, and Roy's doing slides, and it's.
I was cracking because when Mike, we we'll plug Mike and Mary Beth's show, and they'll plug our show, and during the plugging for this show, Mike said, "Yeah, that's probably going to be like a 4-hour episode."
You might as well call Nick Tate, because we're going to be here forever.
We're gonna beat Nick's time. Yeah, 4 hours and 45 minutes. We're going for the 5-hour marathon tonight, Ross. Everybody, put your seatbelts on.
We gotta keep it. You gotta keep it tight, Roy, because I don't want to be here for 4 hours. It's too much fly. but they both have so much to recommend.
Hang on.
Hey, I let 2 of them out today. I had 2 of them in the house here, and then there aren't ever any flies. But there were 2 big ones in here today.
It's a sign, Ross. It's a sign.
They didn't have whiteheads though.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're safe for the moment.
I'm winded.
Oh boy, yeah. I'm just gonna jump to the comics real quick, and then we'll come back. Let me see. John said maybe a good idea, Roy, to do a Made in Canada movie show. Ross sounds keen to do it. I don't have the James saying I don't have the winning lottery numbers, unfortunately. Lots of laughs. For tomorrow. Yeah, because he's there tomorrow. Yeah. Don said I remember seeing the original Fly when I was a kid. It was a slow burn, but I like it.
Yeah, you should go back and watch it now. It's not as slow a burn as you remember. Although maybe it is. I'm not like a modern guy, so.
James also said my dad watched the original Fly on the big screen as a kid. I saw it on TV in the mid '80s, but that ending is unforgettable.
Yeah.
Bill said, "Okay, I have to say it with your reminiscing about a long time ago. It was time flies.
Time flies. I see what he did there.
Get out the electric badminton. Yeah, to zap the flies. That's good, hon." And Randy said, "So many of my female friends thought Jeff Goldblum was hot, but now back to the plot."
Yeah, Randy asking for a friend. Okay, Randy, we got you.
Oh boy.
But it was a shock seeing it in '86. I know we're jumping around, but we were bound to do it. It was a shock to have Jeff Goldblum in that part, and to just see like how fit he was, and he had that mane of black hair. And when we're used to see him as geeky science guy, Well,
and the first movie I remember him from was 1978's Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Right. I mean, he was in a lot of stuff before that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have recognized him before knowing who he was, though, because he was one of the hoodlums in Death Wish. He was wearing like a Jughead hat from the art.
Oh my God.
And he was in Nashville. He was riding a motorcycle around that whole movie. I don't think he even has any lines, but he's in it a lot. And he was in, I think he was in The Sentinel, which is not the movie everybody's thinking of, but one back from the 70s. He had a part in that. And again, you wouldn't know him if you didn't know him.
Right.
But Invasion of the Body Snatchers is the first thing I knew him from. But The Big Chill, of course, is what made him.
Right. That was what, 83?
Was it that late?
I think The Big Chill was 83. I remember seeing that with Joe.
Yeah, it was kind of a seminal film. Everybody in that movie became, very well known.
He was in, which I forgot, Annie Hall. I didn't even realize.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, he has a scene in Annie Hall.
Yeah.
So does Christopher Walken. Yeah.
But did you know he was from Pennsylvania, Ross?
I did not.
Yeah. Homestead, West Homestead, PA.
Okay.
I'm not sure how far that is from us.
Local boy. Yeah. Makes good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is funny because he always was, if you didn't get Goldblum, you got Bob Balaban. It's like you needed a science guy. So you had an Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You had Buckaroo Banzai. You had later Jurassic Park and Independence Day. He was always involved in science in some way. He just seems like he would be a scientific geek. And this is the ne plus ultra of mad scientist movies for him.
It's funny. Everybody remembers this movie. When I say this movie, the second movie, the sequel, The Fly. Be afraid, be very afraid. But my one line in this movie that he says that I always crack up about is cheeseburger.
They should have put that on the poster.
I love that. It's great.
It's like I don't know, that tagline's not working for me. Be afraid, be very afraid. I mean, that is one of the most quoted probably taglines from the movies. That and like in space, no one can hear you scream, and just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. These are things that we, when's the last time we had a memorable tagline on a poster where you quote? I mean, you quoted it so much that you forgot where it came from.
The human adventure is just beginning.
The human adventures, well, I guess it wasn't a tagline, or maybe it was for the Poltergeist 2. I know they use it in the trailer. They're back, or we're back. They're back. That's what it is. So everybody would do that. They're back, and it's kind of like that. They're here, right? It's kind of like that with The Fly. Be afraid, be very afraid. It got used so much that you forgot that it was really associated with the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's so true. Hey, Lou is commenting. He's saying, you all must see Jeff Goldblum in a comedy titled The Tall Guy. Hilarious.
Yeah, wasn't Emma Thompson in that? I didn't see the movie, but I remember when it was out. I was actually in France when that was out, and they had posters for
Oh, really?
Yeah, for The Tall Guy. Yeah.
When did you go to France, Ross?
A long time ago. It was in the 80s.
Really? I don't think I knew that. And to answer your question, Emma Thompson was in The Tall Guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been to France in decades, but back then I was there a few times.
Nice.
Yeah. There you go. Parlez-vous. Yeah.
Jeff Rubel said Transylvania is 6-5,000.
Yeah, they were both in that one too. Gena Davis and Jeff Goldblum.
Now they were a couple when they actually did this movie, and they acted. In fact, the director David Cronenberg was hesitant about actually hiring both of them because they were a couple. Mm-hmm. But evidently, Gena Davis pretty much aced the role, and they actually brought in a few other actresses to see what they could do, and they didn't even compare.
Right. The auditions.
I mean, she did a great job with the role, as did he. It really worked out well.
Yeah, and of course they worked well together.
Yeah.
The biggest shock for me going back and watching these two movies back to back, because I watched The Fly, I don't know, like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I watched the 1958 version, had dinner, and then went back and watched the 86 version. You don't really want to have dinner when you're watching The Fly.
No, in fact, he even makes a reference about one of the experiments while she's eating, and he even says, "Not well."
Right. Yeah. So I watched both versions, and the biggest shock for me was that the 86 version, to me, aged more than the 58 version. I thought the 58 version was more kind of timeless, and the 86 version, for all of its strengths, I love both of them, seemed more of an 80s movie. It kind of seemed, I mean, you had the love story, which was they played that up compared to the first one.
Right.
The first one was kind of more about, I mean, you did have the love story between the husband and wife, but they threw out all the philosophical questions about, playing God, and things are moving so fast, and, the science is so scary now, and this kind of thing, which they kind of reference in the 86 version, but it was more, the other thing that's, what is it?
I think it was more philosophical.
The earlier one or the later one?
The earlier one.
I thought the earlier one was too, or at least they underlined it more. The later one, and I had totally forgotten this whole thing, because I read up on these things afterwards just to kind of see what everybody else says. I totally got it as an AIDS metaphor. And it's funny that so many people did. And Cronenberg says, no, it was just a metaphor for aging and sickness and cancer and that kind of thing. But I totally, it struck me as because, AIDS was a big deal in the 80s.
Oh, and that was right in the heart of it.
Yeah. And it just, it was, there were so many kind of parallels, intentional or not.
Yeah, I agree about that, Bill. There was less. I mean, obviously, there is. You do see, at the end. Now we're going back to 58 with David Hedison, where he's wearing the full, I'll say headgear, the full mask, the full fly mask, so to speak. But really, that they didn't concentrate on the metamorphosis of it. Now, interesting enough, Hedison had suggested them doing that and was kind of wanting them to do that. They didn't really go in that direction with that first movie because of cost. So to keep it down, I mean, he's wearing that cloth essentially throughout the entire time. In fact, Shari was cute. What she did was she looked up, because we watched the first one the other night, and then she was really curious. And we always joke about it. Like if we're watching a movie and you know how they, somebody's hand, they'll do even with a television show, they'll do a close up on a hand of somebody doing something. And more than likely that is not the actor's hand because, time is money. They'll have a hand model or something. So
George Costanza.
Yeah, exactly. We'll always joke about that. And so with that said, she was saying, I wonder if that's really, David Hedison under the mask or under the cloth. And she looked it up and it really was him. He did all of that.
He had nice hands. Except for that little fly hook.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
He needed
a man about him losing his mentality, his humanity, but really they went into the transformation more so in the 86 movie. And that was something Cronenberg definitely wanted to do. And it worked. I mean, it progresses. And to your point, there were those discussions, the reaction by the public. I mean, really was they, as an AIDS metaphor. And again, also with the aging process too, and just how, things break down. And unfortunately, and he tries, it's not really comical, but as time is progressing in this whole thing, I mean, he's losing his ears, he's losing his teeth. I mean,
it's definitely comic. It's very dark comic at times. I mean, it's tragic and there's a lot of pathos, but there's definitely dark comedy. I mean, yeah, you can't say, I've got a natural history in my medicine box and,
right.
Or have your ear fall off, and not have it be like macabrely humorous,
Yeah.
Thank God that that it was before computer CG.
Well, it's interesting you're saying that because Bill just commented. He said special effects will also age badly. Even 20 years ago now, the current spec effects would look dated. Yeah, and here's the thing: if it had not been his practical effects, those effects would look so bad today. Because unfortunately, the CGI of 20 years ago is not holding up.
Yeah. Like, is this a superhero movie or a horror movie? And I think if they had done computers, it would have just been, but instead they did the Fred Astaire thing with Royal Wedding, where he dances on the ceiling and they just rotate the room.
Yeah,
they did that. They put the room in a like a Ferris wheel and turned it so he would walk up the walls and stuff. Because I thought that was great. But if they had done it with CG, I wouldn't have been like, and I wouldn't have thought it was magical in any way or clever, So thank God that they didn't have that technology at that point.
No, I totally agree. Now, John just posed a question to us. He said, does Roy and or Ross believe we are now past the days of the theatrical blockbuster movie? No more sold out movie theaters or long first run releases. What do you say? I do not think we are past that. I think, and it's interesting too, because I was just talking to another friend last weekend about this, because he actually works at a movie theater. Rob, we've had Rob on the show. And essentially, if the movie, John, is popular enough or if it's got enough buzz, I think people will come to see it. I just don't think that the movie houses are filling up the way they used to with just a general movie. If a movie is not, doesn't have a big name associated with it, or if there's not a lot of marketing, or if there's not a lot of buzz around it, I think the casual movie is not getting.
Yeah,
I think people are waiting and watching them at home. I think that and I think it's a shame too, because I love the silver screen. I think it's wonderful. Yeah. I think there's nothing. I mean, it's wonderful. Don't get me wrong. It is so convenient to sit at home, just to relax, be comfortable, and we hang out, we watch the film, and we have we can eat what we want. And, we don't have other people there around us. You have people that are munching. And don't get me wrong, I love to munch. I love to eat during a movie. But some people can be like really obnoxious, or they're making a lot of noise. You don't have to deal with any of that when you're at home.
Yeah, the phones are the number one thing now.
Phones.
People can't stay off the phones for 2 hours.
Right.
And that infuriates me. Even at concerts, it just infuriates me when somebody gets out their phone and I get that glare when I'm trying to be
Yes,
lost in the moment, you know?
exactly. And it just takes you out. Now, with that said, I really do prefer to be in the movie theater because there is nothing like it. And I honestly, I don't think there ever will be, unless, of course, you know, you're a millionaire and, you know, you have the luxury of owning a theater and you can do, you know, have a setup like that. But
Yeah, it used to be fun to sit in the theater and get the audience reaction and have that energy.
Mhm.
You know, it just seemed like kind of a place where we could all commune and be on the same page. And I'm
Yep.
not even talking about politics. I'm just talking about just go into a movie house and just lose, you know, just everybody having a fun reaction to a movie.
You just made me think of it immediately. First one that comes to mind is Return of the Jedi, when Vader is turning from the dark side to the good side, and he picks up the Emperor, and he picks him up and he throws him into the pit.
The
And
audience went
the audience
bananas.
goes crazy and was clapping the first time. I mean, that's just one example. But to your point, with the energy of that, and you can't have that.
No. And I remember Rocky 2, the audience went insane. Now, I mean, I remember a lot of movies where just laughing at a movie, being in a theater at a comedy, and people having, or even not even like a hit you over the head comedy, but people would laugh at the laugh lines when they saw a movie. They would react at certain points, and you know, and some theaters were more reactive than others, especially in Philadelphia. But I always found that amusing too.
It's the camaraderie.
Right. But my response to that question is, I think we're past, unfortunately, the heyday, just because, I mean, we saw a little bit of it a couple of years ago with Oppenheimer and the Barbenheimer phenomenon, where people were actually lining up to see these movies, but it doesn't happen like it used to. And I don't think it will, because it seems that a lot, maybe this is like straw men, you know, I'm like creating straw men for this, but it seems like a lot of younger people just aren't into the experience of going to the movies. They got a lot of other stuff they want to do. They can stream it, and then while they're streaming, they can like text or do, multitask or whatever. Yeah. And it's not the same thing. We used to go to just, have a good time at the movies for 2 hours, and that was it.
We used to look forward to it. It was a thing. I mean, it was going to we would do that. I mean, we did do that. I mean, we'd go on Friday nights or Saturday nights, and
we look forward to it.
Friends or a date, it was something that we looked forward to. It was the thing to do, and it was not only, and the experience was just, went along with it. It was a plus.
And it's not just the young people. I mean, I think it's a big part of it, but it's also the fact that as you pointed out, the stuff goes right to streaming, and it's not a movie anymore. It's content. You know what I mean? It's just there to fill time. And every time to reinforce that, every time I rent a movie or stream a movie, I sit down and watch it, and the movie ends, the music starts, and you get directed by, and it's like boom, it goes like right to it just shuts down on you, and nothing pisses me off more than cutting me off in the middle of the credits.
I know.
I'm one of those guys that stays through the always, and it has before there was ever like post credit scenes, I would stay to the end of the credits no matter what movie I saw.
I'm with you on that, and it's so annoying when you're watching a movie that's streaming, and then you see on the lower right hand side it'll say countdown, and it's like 10 seconds, and you're
scrambling for the controls. And you've already missed the main credit, the major credits, at that point, by the time you get on.
And what about all the people that were a part of that? Not that
it's so disrespectful, and I don't understand what they think they're accomplishing. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to go get hooked now on reruns of Bewitched because Amazon's going to throw Bewitched up there? It's like, no, show me the end credits and then I'll watch Bewitched.
Exactly.
It's like,
that's not knocking Bewitched, because
Bewitched
was cool. Anyway, no,
because it's part of
we digress, but it was a good question, John. Go ahead, Ross. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, they work so hard on it. I mean, there's so many people that work on the movie. It's not just giving credit to the people. They craft it so that it goes into the credits and you have a certain experience. And it's like an entr'acte. Like you're absorbing the movie. You're thinking about the movie.
Yeah.
But, that's not how they look at it. They look at it as like, this is this content. We just filled 2 hours and we're going to throw something else here to try to get you to keep watching our service. But I never do that. I always shut off what comes on next. So I don't know what they think they're doing. Just pissing
Sherry
me off.
commented. She said, like the end of the movie Carrie, everyone jumped out of their seats when the hand comes out of the grave.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
Bill just said, "I stayed too, Ross."
There.
Going back
Kindred
to
spirits. Yeah.
Jeff said, "Was the computer lights on the wall later used on the Sea View? They remind me of those." No, they were not, and he's referring to the 58 version. But they did recycle the special effects from that movie, and I will come back to that, Jeff. So hold that thought. I just want to get a couple more of the comments in. I'm just backtracking on. Lou said one of the few movies that were both good, meaning the original and the sequel, and that's very true. Bill said special. Yeah, we were just talking about the special effects. Shari said he didn't, in regards to David Hedison, he didn't like the fly mask. It weighed 20 pounds. He said it was like playing a piano with boxing gloves when he was typing with the fly hand.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
And Randy said apparently Jeff kept a real jar of flies in his trailer, method acting.
Yeah, I didn't. Good. No, I want to hear what Lou has to say.
Lou said trivia. The sound effects inside David Hedison's lab became the sound of the Lost in Space robot. You know, Lou, I thought that sounded familiar. Also, part of the chariot scanner was seen on the table. Good notes, Lou. Very cool.
Yeah.
And then one last thing,
a lot of
Bill
comments.
said, yeah, there was a time when only a few people had large screens. There were viewing parties. Does that still happen? No.
Yeah, I don't know. Remember when I used to have the 24-hour film fests at my house?
Yes. Yes, that was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But,
yeah, I don't know how the hell I used to do that, because I could not stay awake for 24 hours.
Be all passed out.
Yeah.
Watching Duck Soup.
Yeah. Drinking a lot of coffee. Yeah. And then my mom would get up and make us breakfast in the morning.
Aw.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Those were the days. That was back before you could get the movies too. I had to use like 3 different memberships to get enough movies, or 4 different. Remember, because you could only take out 2 tapes, and they didn't have all the movies I wanted. Yeah. It's like, oh wait, this place over in Peaburg has the movies I want. You know, it's like, does anybody have a membership for that one?
What was that place in Phillipsburg? I was just Vince isn't out there tonight, but he used to go there all the time. I used to go there because what happened was they hooked me up with. We're really digressing here. Space 1999, when it was released on VHS back in the day, they released 4 episodes, and it was J2 Video, I think it was. And anyway, Carla and Vicky, that just came out of pull that out. This is like 35 years ago. They owned the video store that was at, if anybody's in the Lehigh Valley is watching tonight, they had that video store that was by the old Laneco. That was off of Route 22, where eventually Walmart went in. And then there was a, Sherry would know this maybe, because if she would definitely remember this. There was the video store there. There was the Laneco. There was actually, and I actually think there was a club there too, if I remember correctly. And do you remember that, Ross? Because it was it was like 1990.
Oh, no, I don't remember it at all then. Unless it was there before that, because at that point.
Yeah.
Now
back to the plot.
Yeah, well, now as far as the film's aging because of the effects, that's not what I was talking about at all, because I thought the effects were good in both films. And I don't care. I would prefer the films to keep the effects from the era and not have somebody come back in and mess with them. Because as somebody else said,
mess with them, don't destroy the original. Always keep the original.
Somebody else said that even the CG stuff, 20 years later looks, some of it's not even 20 years. Some of it looks terrible already. But, I mean, it's of the era. As long as I love the Ray Harryhausen movies. Those were never meant to look realistic. They have their own stylized flair to them. But anyway, going back to the 50s version. Now both of these films were based on a story by George Langelan. George Langelan was a really interesting guy. He was a French-British journalist. He was born in Paris, and he served in, was it World War II? World War I. World War II. It was World War II. And he had, he became a spy, a special agent. Did you read about this?
I didn't read all the backstory. I read about the short story and how it was different from the original, but I didn't get all this information. So this is good.
Yeah, so he actually he had plastic surgery to change his face and everything. He went down behind German lines and all this other stuff. He got captured by and tortured by the Nazis, and they sentenced him to death, and he escaped. And then he returned at Normandy. He got the medal for the Croix de Guerre of the French,
Medal of Honor.
Medal of Honor. Yeah, so he gets this, and then on the side he's writing these short stories and novels and things. So yeah, this was published in Playboy magazine. So next time somebody says they read Playboy for the fiction, this is the guy they're reading. They're reading The Fly.
And you know what's interesting? Just think how that's a pivotal part in history. Now, just think if this guy had not escaped, this is how one person could have affected the entire timeline of millions of people. Because just think about it. If for some reason, if he hadn't escaped and he hadn't made it back and did not do this career as a writer, he never would have written the short story. As a result, these movies would never have been made. The 58 version wouldn't have been made. If the 58 version wouldn't have been made, obviously the 1986 version wouldn't be made. And think how everybody else's journeys through life would have been affected by that.
Marty, we got to go back to 1957.
I'm just saying.
You saw the flap of a butterfly's wings, that kind of thing.
The butterfly
changes. Yeah, so the vibration of a fly's wings could change history.
Right.
But so this was published in 1957. A lot of writers wrote for Playboy. I mean, they had stories published in there, like literary writers back in the day. But this was came out in 57. The movie came out in 58, so it was a very quick turnaround.
Yeah.
It was originally set. Yeah.
I was just going to say with the original story, it was a little bit more depressing than what the movie did, because because they didn't want 20th Century Fox, which wound up distributing it. They originally were approached to fund it, and then they didn't like the direction of everything. But I guess they were very fixed on them having a happy ending. And I guess in the original storyline, the wife actually commits suicide after everything that takes place. And they don't, she doesn't go off with Francois? Well, Vincent Price.
Now, I love this. It was originally set in France, but they decided to put it in Canada. And I love this. They do this in old movies a lot. They'll get Gary Cooper in Lives of a Bengal Lancer. They emphasize the fact, he's Canadian. He's Canadian. Or how else? There's several of these where they try to explain the accent. Why this American guy is in this foreign land or what have you. But a lot of them, they just ignore the fact. They'll just put an American star in there, and everybody around them will speak with accents. And it's like that in this movie. They're in Canada, and they all have French Canadian names, and yet Vincent Price and Herbert Marshall, like all the leads, to speak like we do.
Right.
But everyone around them is like, speaking like they're eating Roquefort cheese. They're all like savoir-faire everywhere, So anyway, I thought that was amusing.
Like a square peg in a round world.
Yeah. It was and the screenplay was by James Clavell, who adapted the story. And James Clavell went on to become such a big best-selling author. He did Shogun and Russia House and did you write? No, he didn't do Russia House. He did
Shogun, I remember.
What is it? He did Shogun, he did Taipan, and he did Noble House. Noble House is the one I was thinking of. Yeah, and Whirlwind, I guess, was his last one. But he did, and King Rat was the one that was about his because he also suffered during the war. He got thrown into a prisoner of war camp. I forget where, somewhere in the southeast. But anyway, so he busted into, that was his first credit. He sold another idea for another screenplay, but this is the first one to get made. And, the rest is history. So it's funny to see such a big name on such a, such a quintessential 50s movie.
Right.
It's like, oh, this guy went on to something else.
And it was so funny because when I saw his name, I'm like, why does that name? And this is before I looked it up. I was like, why does this name sound familiar? I know that I know who this is, but I wasn't connecting the dots. And I was like, oh my God, there you go.
It really is. I mean, the Kurt Neumann, the guy who directed it,
Very
he's
sad.
One of these German refugees who came here and he'd worked in Europe, and he came and wound up doing Tarzan movies and wound up doing science fiction movies later on. He did Rocket Ship XM, which I'm always mentioning. It's the first film that used the theremin, the first science fiction film that used the theremin. It beat. I mean, the theremin was used before in other movies in the 30s and 40s, but it beat Day the Earth Stood Still to the screens by a few months. But yeah, so those were his big credits, and this was a big hit, and he didn't live to see it.
And he died, like within a month, I think.
Yeah. So he never knew how this was going to be his magnum opus.
Yeah. So tragic. I mean, when you think about it, that happened to him.
And the cinematographer, I don't usually mention all these guys, but they're all so overqualified. Karl Struss was an American-born of German descent, but he worked with F.W. Murnau on Sunrise, which is a classic silent movie. He worked with Chaplin on The Great Dictator and Limelight. He worked on the silent Ben-Hur, because the one we all know with Charlton Heston's a remake.
Right.
He worked on the silent one with Ramon Navarro. He did Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with Frederick March. He did Island of Lost Souls, which is the old Island of Dr. Moreau with Charles Lawton and Bela Lugosi. And he did Technicolor tests for Gone with the Wind, even though he wasn't credited. So he had all these great, crazy resume, and here he is doing The Fly. But I had to look him up because when I was watching the movie, the first thing I noticed was the cinematography. I said, this camera's moving the camera's, panning, it's moving it. Because a lot of times on these B movies from the 50s, they just kind of like set up the camera. And if they have to, they'll turn it from side to side. But they don't really do a lot with it. This guy it was like a modern movie.
Yeah. There was a lot of care. And the movie did very well. I mean, it was a financial success.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they did it for just under $500,000. And again, this is 1958. And if I remember correctly, I think it made around like over $4 million, which at the time, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, different era.
Different era.
But the storytelling, that's what got me. Because as this gruesome beginning, but it's also kind of a mysterious beginning. It kind of draws you into the movie. And of course, I knew what happened because I'd seen the movie before. But it was just, it keeps you interested. It kind of because they don't get to the story right away. It's just kind of a mysterious opening, and then she goes into the flashback and tells what happened.
And the sad thing is, we knew what the movie was going to be. I mean, I was trying to think back to when I originally saw this. Now, like yourself, when I first saw it back in the 70s, I didn't see it from the beginning to the end. I remember this, and what probably happened was I caught it somewhere right after, not the beginning piece of it had not taken place, but she's with him, but she's telling the story. Because I remember her being under arrest. I remember her crushing him. And then the flashback sequence. So that really resonates with me. And then, of course, like you said, everybody and their brothers and sisters and third and fifth and sixth cousin know the ending of this movie.
Yeah, you'll never forget that. It's like nightmare fuel.
It really, yeah. I mean,
you'll never forget that.
And it's like it's imprinted on. It's like Dragon's Domain from Space 1999. If you've seen any episode of Space 1999 and you've forgotten any episode of 1999, the one you won't forget is the one with the dragon, because it's just like everybody just remembers it. And it's the same thing with The Fly. Everybody remembers that end sequence, and it's haunting. I mean, it really is.
It's got some intense imagery. I mean, even the beginning, when you see the press, it's so bloody. For a 1950s movie, I'm surprised that they got away with just putting that idea in your head,
They wouldn't show this film. It's funny you're saying that, because I think one of the areas that they showed it, they almost gave it like not that there is this rating, but like a PG-16 rating, and that they wouldn't allow it. And I forget where that was. I should have wrote that down.
Yeah, because it was in Technicolor for one thing, which is crazy because so many of those movies were black and white, like Tarantula and Them, and so many of those saucer people movies. So it was very vivid, and you had this bloody opening, and there you go. And Roy with the ending. Holy Christ! Yeah, that's yikes.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, and that's 1958. And Vincent Price tells the story when they were doing it. It took like 20 takes because they were cracking up because which is kind of funny.
It is.
But it's and again, if we didn't already know the story and know that he was actually dead, it's almost like you're hoping that, okay, this has happened to him. He's been fused with this thing. Can they reverse it? And they keep saying, he wants the fly to be found. The one that escaped that has the white head, because you're thinking maybe if they both go through it again, somehow the process could be reversed. But, their son has it and then lets it go because she wanted him to let it go. And then he never finds it. And then with him, he's starting to lose his humanity. He's starting to slip. And once he burns his files and he burns everything and destroys his records, just starts destroying the equipment, it's like, it's hopeless. And then when, the whole thing with the press comes down and then that happens, it's done. And then it's like, now she's going to get committed. Well, actually not committed. They're going to basically arrest her because the inspector thinks that, it was murder. He doesn't believe any of the story. And Vincent Price pretty much tricked her in telling the story because he said he actually had the fly, the white-headed fly, which he didn't, but he was just trying to get her to talk so he could find out. And when it's all looking hopeless, that's when the son says it's in the spider web, and that's what leads them to find it. And you almost want them to try to help it because, it's saying, help me. It's like begging. But at this point, he's gone. So it's like, it's just, you're hoping that maybe they're not, they are going to help it. But even if they did, then what? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a tragedy.
Right.
It's like a Greek tragedy.
And I don't even think he was really thinking it through. The Herbert Marshall's character had such a sense of revulsion that he just reacted. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. The movie is so totally without hope. And I don't even know why I liked these movies when I was a kid. Like I said, I watched these creature double features so often. They were so grim and so hopeless. Even the monster movies from back in the 30s that I love, the Universal monster movies, they're always doomed. You know what I mean? They're always either misunderstood or they're just in hopeless situations. The Wolfman with Lon Chaney, or the Frankenstein, or there's always kind of especially with the Goldblum version, you really get that sense of pathos because I had jotted down. It's like with the Hunchback of Notre Dame or Phantom of the Opera or even King Kong. You sympathize with the creature to some extent. They build that sympathy with the creature, but you realize it's doomed. That it's hopeless, kind of thing. Then it's inevitable. The tragedy is inevitable. So it's. I don't know what the attraction of it is, but hey, I like opera, so
we keep going back for more. Ross.
It's the same thing.
We got caught in the spider's web.
The message is life sucks, and it'll get you in the end.
The eternal optimist. Again, at least I know you're not a pod.
Yeah. But Herbert Marshall, I forgot he was in it. It's like, what is Herbert Marshall doing? He was a big actor in the 30s and 40s. He was a big leading man. He was I don't know if sex symbol is too strong a word, but the ladies were crazy for him. Even in real life, he was a ladies' man. He had affairs with Kay Francis and with Miriam Hopkins and with Gloria Swanson. And he was married 5 times or something,
Well, there you go. Yeah.
He's another guy who, had a hard time in the war. He was in World War I, and a sniper shot him in the kneecap, and they couldn't save the leg. Oh. So he had his leg amputated. So he had for the rest of his life, he had a prosthesis. Okay. So if you really look, when he walks, he's really good though. But you see, he has a little bit of a limp, and he had that his whole movie career. But and I guess it gave him pain sometimes, but he really really kind of mastered it. So you would never know if you didn't know.
Right. So, which I didn't know.
yeah. But in the 30s and 40s, he did a movie called Trouble in Paradise. It was an Ernst Lubitsch film where he plays a jewel thief, and Kay Francis is in it, and they kind of they're cat burglars, is what it is, and they're trying to get I think Miriam Hopkins, jewels and stuff, and of course Marshall in real life winds up having relationships with both of them. He's like Fredo with a cocktail waitresses 2 at a time. Oh, Herbert Marshall, you dog. Plus he had that real suave kind of, relaxed English voice, because he's French Canadian.
Oh, well, there you go. Right.
Only in this movie, though. Only in this movie. But he did. Yeah, it's funny that they don't do the Peter Sellers accents. They just speak in their, Vincent Price is from. Where's he from? I forget, Mississippi or something. He's American.
Yeah.
But he has a very theatrical manner of speaking. He cultivated that. And Herbert Marshall's from England, but they're all French Canadian.
Looking at some of the comments that are coming through. Hang on one second. I just lost it. Oh, I just want to say hi to Deborah. Deborah's out there. Welcome, Deborah. Thanks for joining. And John said 24-hour film fest. Now that would be cool to do again, like a themed monster then for Halloween, or make it like a drive-in all-nighter, dusk to dawn.
I would love to do that. It's just that I guess I wonder if you could do like a viewing party. I mean, I know people do these things, but I wonder, would it have to be like a private channel or something that people would
do? The problem is where you run into issues. Facebook used to have that, but then they did away with it. So you can't do it on Facebook. And the problem is with YouTube, you run into copyright restrictions if you're showing it. And it seems more not so much with the video, but with the audio, it picks up on that. So
well, now they've got AI and that can pick up anything. Well, I mean, talk about AI though. It was the computer in the remake of The Fly. I mean, if you can't entrust, the computer doesn't understand. It screws up everything.
Right.
So it can't understand. He has to explain, everything to the because it is a computer. It can't.
I mean, I remember, friends that were, that were into computer programmers. They'd say a computer is dumb. A computer it has no knowledge. It's just
it's confused and
it's based on it's what you program into it.
Yeah,
that was like 40 years ago. What's interesting though is now with AI is continuing to evolve. I was just talking to Ryan about this just today, and I remember when ChatGPT, I first heard about it like right around now, literally 2 years ago. And when you think about where it is now as compared to 2 years ago, it's kind of scary. And what's going to be even scarier is where it will be 2 years from now. And I'm not against technology evolution or anything like that, but it's just, I don't know.
Well, you see it's the deep fake photos that they come up with now. And, most of them you can pick up on, but they're getting better. And it's,
Oh, you froze, Ross. You're in suspended animation.
Am I frozen? We've gone black again.
You were. Back? Yeah, you're back. I can hear you.
What is happening? You're moving very in slow motion, Roy. Are you there? Roy?
I'm here.
Okay, now you're back. I think Skylab is like messing with us now.
You mean Skynet?
Skynet, because we're speaking truth to power. Skynet. I'm sorry, not Skylab.
Skylab is gone. That was gone 46 years ago. Although I remember being at the Lopakon pool and being concerned that there was going to be some kind of wreckage coming out of the sky. Yeah. Interesting. Bill just commented. He said, yeah, and I remember Mike and Mary Beth were talking about this. Sci-Fi did still try to multicast, and Facebook shut it down. So they try to do that. Bill's saying, just remember that ChatGPT is data minded. Whoops. Watch what you type into it. Yeah, this is true. Lou said, if you want to know why the fly didn't want to be caught throughout the latter part of the movie, he always seemed to be getting away from everyone.
I know. Well, maybe he was just being propelled by the fly part, maybe the man part. Yeah, like why couldn't he send his thoughts down to the...
Yeah. And then Bill said, if they sent them through together again, would we get a giant fly and a mini human? Well, that's just it. I mean, and that's what is brought out in the second movie, the remake, is that the computer didn't know how to handle that. So what it did was it fused the two together. So there is no fly and there is no human. It's just one entity, I'll say, that's been merged into one
Brundlefly.
Yeah, Brundlefly. Exactly. That's the difference as compared to the original. Hey, Leslie. I just saw Leslie at ShopRite about an hour, maybe 2 hours ago, because that's where we were. I was talking to Ryan, and we went right past each other. Good to see you out there. We're talking about The Fly and The Fly.
Did you catch when Vincent Price says in the original one, when he says, "Here, I've got something to show," or he has something to show you? He goes, "Oh, what is it? A flat screen?" Did you hear him say that? I
did not catch that.
Yeah, it's like,
oh,
what? Did he just say that? Did he invent a flat screen?
Oh, interesting.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm hearing stuff. But oh, wow, it'd be like reading when I read Fahrenheit 451, and it was all about the flat screens.
Yeah, right.
Wait a minute, what's going on?
John just said 2 books from my youth which never got a theatrical treatment are Dolphin Island and Alas Babylon, timeless stories which are still relevant today.
I haven't read them. I
haven't either. And Bill said Star Trek Connection in the 2009 movie, Scotty lost Archer's beagle in a transporter. Ooh. Talking about that was, I mean, the whole thing in the first, I mean, there's obviously the tragedy we're talking about, but the one thing that stayed with me, especially as from seeing this as a kid, like 50 years ago, and bothered me a lot was, and I was even saying to Shari, was when when David Hedison put the cat through. It just bothered me. And then when it would, and he was waiting to see it reintegrate, and it wasn't in there, and then you hear the meow. It was
know. Dandelo. Yeah, it was like
oh, Dandelo, and it just like it went right through, and I remember it like from like 50 years ago, and that it was like traumatic.
Yeah, it was really freaky. I don't know why. And then he goes and uses the guinea pig afterwards. Why didn't you use the guinea pig to begin with? But still, I mean, it's a living creature. It's even if the guinea pig didn't come through, I'd be like pretty freaked out. But that was freaky. And then it was ominous when he just sent the plate through that said "Made in Japan" on the back, and it came through perfectly. But when they flipped it over, the writing was in reverse on the back, and you knew nothing good was going to come from it.
Yeah, I actually remembered that too. Yeah, I said that to Sherry. I said, "Watch what's gonna."
It was so well done. The first one.
It really was.
Yeah, I mean the second one was well done too, but that first one is. I was really impressed for a B movie. It was not a B movie, and it was done in CinemaScope. It's like, wait, what is it? This is like supposed to be the B movie branch of 20th Century Fox. It was like, what was it? Regal Films, but it wasn't. It was released under 20th Century Fox's. Distribution. It had the 20th Century Fox logo, and then they had the CinemaScope extension. It's like, what are we watching here? Is this going to be like How the West Was Won or something? Oh no, it's The Fly.
It's The Fly. Oh, Randy said ChatGPT is very familiar with this show. Just saying. Oh, wow. Lou said he heard the flat screen comment.
Oh, he did. Okay. Well, there we go. Thanks for having my back, Lou.
And Leslie said, "Did you do that?" That David Hedison did not wear theatrical makeup at all.
At all. Okay.
Okay. No, we were talking about the monster cap though, that it weighed 20 pounds. Yeah. John said the films on YouTube are supposed to have public license. Some of the more obscure 60s, 70s, and 80s films cannot be found there yet. Many of the movies Roy features on the show can be.
Yeah, I'm surprised by the stuff that does turn up. It's not as much as it used to be, though.
No,
I remember you could watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, but
yeah, unfortunately, it's that's changed.
One thing that the both films did that I found entertaining or interesting was that they attempted like the fly eye, point of view. Like they had the kind of that prismic view in the first one, and then the second one they don't overtly state it, but when the opening credits are going and you've got that kind of pixelation, and then it comes in, I always kind of took that as like a fly point of view, even if it's not.
Right. No, that's a good point. And also they really touched upon it where when he asks his wife in the first one for, what did he say? He wanted milk and sugar,
right?
Or milk and rum, or well,
yeah, rum,
milk and rum,
right. And of course, the '50s one is totally '50s still. It's just so, in a way, it's fascinating and it's dispiriting to see how people would get dressed to go out in the '50s still. Hey, let's go to the ballet. Okay, good. I'll go get dressed. Now you go and everybody's just like walking around in t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
Even around the house, I understand it's a movie, but people didn't just put on their little, their wife beaters and stuff.
Well, I mean, he's outside and he's out on the porch, he's on the patio and he's pretty much almost like in a suit.
Yeah.
And then, she's dressed to the hilt as well, too. And then they cover that actually with Jeff Goldblum with his character, because she's like, saying, do you even wash your clothes? And then he's like, what are you talking about? And then she looks in his closet and he's got like 5 days, going across the same clothes. And then he said he was emulating Einstein.
Yeah, because Einstein would always have all the identical.
Yeah, Bill, I was saying this to Ross earlier as a joke, but every Star Trek Transporter Problem episode goes back to this movie. Yeah. Absolutely.
I totally thought of that. Yeah. And they make it explicit in the Goldblum version about how he gets motion sickness and so he doesn't even like to travel by car.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how they go for it.
He doesn't like devices, I think he said, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how they go from this lab setting, even though it's in his house. He's got a lab set up in the basement in the original, but in the '80s one, it's very '80s. He's got like some science loft.
Well, Cronenberg wanted to keep that too, where the sliding door to go in there.
The sliding door, yeah.
But
it's just like some loft. It's like he's got a loft with an upright piano, and it's just like some cool loft somewhere in Toronto. And how could something not go wrong? Because at least in a lab setting, you're keeping everything kind of under lab conditions. Presumably you'd be obviously he wasn't because a fly got in. But in Goldblum's thing, he's in some vast factory. It's just like some warehouse.
Right.
So and he gets drunk and he goes in and there's nothing in there to keep stuff sterilized. You'd think there'd be an airlock around the outside of the whole thing. So nothing, because even you don't even know, even if bacteria got in there, it could be a bad thing, to get fused with whatever it is.
With the bacteria.
Yeah. So don't play God, watch that overweening science.
Well, and, with Star Trek, especially Star Trek: The Next Generation, with the whole thing with the transporter, they took it to the next level as opposed to the original series, where they would talk about the transporter's biofilters to try to like wean out any type of bacteria or any type of microbes. They did that one episode with they would have the Barkley episodes, and that was with Dwight Schultz. He was a recurring character, and he had hated the transporter. He dodged using the transporter. I mean, McCoy was the one in the original series that always would make his comments about having his molecules scrambled. And they even did it. They dealt with that in what was it, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, where he didn't want to get in the beam. But with that, with Barkley, when he's being deatomized, he has this like vision of these creatures, and it turns out that's a whole another episode. But anyway,
it also made me think of was in Willy Wonka. It reminded me of Mike TV. Remember when he gets sent the particles?
Yes,
and he comes out all tiny.
Comes out tiny. Yeah, Galaxy Quest 2. That's right, Leslie. I forgot about that. Stewie's the Family Guy. Stewie's Time Machine and Family Guy too. Leslie said that this movie creeped her out. So, of course, I had to see the Jeff Goldblum one in the movie.
Yeah. Did you see it in the movies? We didn't ask each other that. When was the first time you saw that one?
Yeah. When was the first time?
Did you see it in the movies?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Ross. You're asking me. I thought you were asking the viewers.
No, she said that she saw it in the movies.
Yes, I did. I saw this in the movie theater.
Yeah. So did I. I was looking forward to it. And I wasn't disappointed. I really liked it when I saw it.
I did too.
I mean, it was like a gut punch, but I knew going in it would be.
Right. There was no way. And also, as I always like to do on the show, we're jumping around a little bit tonight, but that's okay. Let me do this.
But I was really taken with it, which is why I was surprised when I went back and watched them back to back this week, that I thought the 80s one didn't age as well as the 50s one. I still think it's a good movie. But I could just see the seams a little more. The 80s-ness of it. Not that the 50s one doesn't have 50s-ness. There's certainly a lot of 50s-ness in the 50s.
Oh yeah, this has 50s written all over it.
Yeah, but it was just so well structured, and the one thing that I didn't believe in the original one was how quickly she got over it. Where it's kind of like, oh, I'm so glad it's over and everything's fine. And
that was my comment to Shari too. I don't want to say complaint, but that was my problem with it.
Yeah, and because the rest of it was well done. Of course, there's the conceit of her having to read all of his notes out loud so that we know what they said. You know what I mean? She couldn't just read them to herself. She had to read whatever he typed, so the audience would know. Don't do that.
And then he would bang on the.
Right. That was effective though. Yeah. and this guy here, this Getz. Yeah, they should have just gotten the guy from Ghostbusters.
This guy was so obnoxious.
Dickless. With William Atherton, they could have got him to play that part. Yeah, he was so loathsome. But you kind of fell for him in one scene, maybe. Not when he was getting all eaten and burned up, though. I like that.
Yeah. Now, back in the day, I always like to give a nod to Starlog magazine because this was our go-to. Starlog number 8, and this is one of the earlier issues, had an issue. This issue was had an article in regards to the Fly. Now, fast forward a few years later, and then issue number 110, and there's Cronenberg, the Fly.
And he had a cameo. Did you notice his cameo?
Yeah, he was the gynecologist.
Yeah.
And that pretty much Gena Davis did not want a stranger on the set there with, for that scene. And she wanted somebody, that she knew, that was known. And obviously he was the director. So she felt more comfortable with him. So, yeah.
And I guess when Martin Scorsese first met him, he said he looked more like a gynecologist or something like that than a filmmaker. Made some kind of crack like that.
Shari commented, "How about the maid?" And this is for the first one. "Loved her. She just went along with everything and didn't ask any questions. So funny. She did cleaning product commercial that I remember. Tide, I think, not sure.
So recognizable. She's in everything. She was just in She only died fairly recently, but she was in the Blues Brothers. Remember the penguin when they go to the nun? Hits him with the yardstick when they swear, like Belushi and Aykroyd.
Yeah.
That was her. She was the penguin.
Really?
She was the nun. Yeah, but she was in a lot of stuff. She always played the maid
No, she definitely was a recognizable. And Shari was saying that right from the start. She's like, I've seen her so many times.
Yeah, and she's in all the Jerry Lewis movies. Kathleen Freeman is her name.
Okay, I couldn't think of her name.
But she had a voice credit in Shrek.
Oh.
I think it was her last film. So I guess that was a while ago now, but she was around for a bit. And what I didn't realize was that the nurse, the actress that played the nurse, Betty Lou Gerson, she did the voice of Cruella de Vil.
Yes, I did read that. Yes.
So I wonder if David Frankham had any interaction with her.
Exactly.
Since he was in did one of the voices for 101 Dalmatians, and of course was in the Fly sequel. Frankham.
Yes, he was. That's right. Actually, you know what? We'll be having him on early next year because he's going to be celebrating his 100th birthday. I got to actually touch base with him and I haven't talked to him in some time. Yeah. In several months, but see how he's doing. But he is truly amazing. He really, really is. And he's done so much. And he acted with Vincent Price. And this was one of the films that he did with Vincent Price. Because Vincent Price was involved in the sequel. There were 2 sequels that took place. It was The Return of the Fly, which was incidentally in black and white, which a lot of people thought when asked that the original was in black and white, and it wasn't. It was we were talking about. It was filmed in color.
And then there was The Curse of the Fly.
Curse of the Fly. That's the other one. Yeah.
The thing about John Getz, we're talking about, plays the editor in the remake, the slimy editor who was involved with Gena Davis at some point, or her character, and wants to run the story about Goldblum's character, about Seth Brundle. His name is Stathis Borens. His character's name is Stathis Borens. What kind of name is that?
It didn't even sound real.
It smacks of an anagram to me. I haven't seen it written up anywhere, but I got to sit down and see if this is like some kind of scrambled word. Or perhaps there's a nationality where Stathis Borens is a name. I don't know.
I never heard that name before in my life.
I can't peg what it would be. But I'm going to find out that it's some scrambled joke, an anagram for something. Yeah.
John Getz, though, he's done a lot.
It could be an anagram for William Atherton, who played the bad guy in Ghostbusters. There were some deleted scenes in the Goldblum version, which thank God they deleted them. Some of them are on YouTube. The infamous monkey cat scene is on YouTube if you want to see it. That they cut out, where they send the baboon and the cat through and synthesize, into one creature as he's experimenting. And it's totally unnecessary. And in fact, that's my one criticism about the movie, about Cronenberg in general. It's kind of like the Guillermo del Toro. I like him very much, and I always feel compelled to see his movies. But there's always at least one scene where he goes too far. But you could say that for Quentin Tarantino too. There's always like one really brutal scene where it's like, really, was that necessary to go that far? But there were several kind of queasy moments in The Fly. I knew what was coming because I'd seen it when it was in the theater in the 80s, so it wasn't as squirmy as it was the first time I saw it, but it was a little rough the first time. It's funny because Goldblum, I'm sure you must have read this, he wrote Vincent Price.
Yes.
He wrote Vincent Price a note, and he says, I hope you enjoy our version of The Fly as much as I enjoyed yours. And Vincent Price wrote back, he went to see the movie, and he said, it was wonderful. He said, up to a point.
Yep. He took it a little too far. Yeah, I did read about that. I thought, and that was nice that he reached out to him, though.
Yeah.
Sherry was just asking about the boy that was in the movie. Now that was Charles Herbert, and
Right.
sadly though he did a lot of stuff, and he worked with a lot of talent too.
He was a kid actor,
child actor, yeah,
in a lot of movies and TV of the era. But yeah, he's recognizable also.
Yeah, worked with Cary Grant, Sophia Loren,
right. in Houseboat. Yeah.
But he passed away in 2015. He was only in his late 60s, I think, and I believe he died of a heart attack. But yeah, definitely one of the working child actors of the era.
I really thought the baboon they got for the Goldblum version was a great actor. I thought they did a really good job with the baboon. Where does one find baboons for experimental subjects? It's like,
I know, right?
You're in a loft in Toronto. You get motion sickness if you get in the car, and yet you have steady access to baboon subjects.
Yeah, and even did you catch when he even says, sorry about your brother?
Yeah.
It's like, oh man.
Yeah, and the monkey cat sequence kind of ruins it, because then the second baboon nothing good came of him either. But I liked it the way it was, because the baboon jumps out and kind of hugs him, and
right.
And apparently everybody on the set was terrified of that thing because they're wild animals.
Yeah.
But they really took to Goldblum. The baboons love Goldblum. Big brawny naked man. They like that.
Leslie said, guys, are you looking forward to Frankenstein?
Yeah, I'm of two minds of it, because I know I'm going to want to see it. And I know I'm going to be totally bleaked out by it. And of course, it being Del Toro, there's going to be at least one totally gruesome scene in it. Yeah. But I got to see it.
When does that come out? Is it Halloween?
The 7th.
When does it come out?
October.
7th of October?
17th.
17th, gotcha. 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today.
I think I got the date.
Gotcha. Yeah. Let me see. John's asking, does Roy and Ross have any favorite Vincent Price movie that should be remade? Don't remake them.
Yeah, well, I know they remade The House on Haunted Hill, and I don't want to see that one. That's one where they had Jeffrey Rush, who you'd think would be fabulous in it. But, it was just a straightforward, gross horror movie, I think. But I'm sure, Jeffrey Rush probably gave a campy performance. Let's see, a Vincent Price movie I'd like to see remade.
That's a good question.
I like them the way they are.
Yeah.
I've seen some Vincent Price movies I didn't like some of the later Amicus ones he did. Got a little too gross for me, like with the fake blood and Donald Pleasance.
We're always talking about Donald Pleasance. Donald Pleasance always outshines everybody. Donald Pleasance got his though in what was it? Fantastic Voyage.
Yeah.
I just saw him in a Columbo episode just not too long ago.
Oh, did you?
It was from the 70s, but in fact, if anybody out there is a fan of Land of the Giants, he was opposite actor Gary Conway in the episode that he was in, and I think the episode's name was An Old Port in the Storm. That sounds familiar. It was probably around 73, 74. And again, it was Columbo. Lou commented and said, Bess Flowers was in the 1958 version, uncredited. She was also in several Three Stooges episodes.
Huh. What part did she play? In the Fly?
Yeah, let us know, Lou.
What did I just see that Mo Howard was in? Jeez, from the Three Stooges. Mo was in, it was not even a comedic role. He played a cab driver. Jeez. I don't know. Something I just read about recently. It was probably another movie one of these guys made. Dr. Five. Well, you know what? They did remake Dr. Fives with Malcolm McDowell. I didn't see it, but I believe they remade it. Either they did remake it or they were going to remake it and didn't remake it, but I think they did.
And also, I want to say hi to Jack. Thanks for joining us, Jack, and being out there. I didn't get to say hi to you before. Bill said Scream and Scream Again is a great one. Vincent Price.
Yeah, that's one I kind of had problems with. So, yeah. That's one of those Amicus movies.
Leslie just said, "For the love of God, leave the classics alone and come up with something new." Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
No, it's.
We have to clone Vincent Price first.
Don't say that too loud, or else somebody might just try to do it.
Yeah,
and that's the problem with
Skynet.
Well, with AI, and I mean that's a whole. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but
Yeah.
just with using images from
Right.
I think if you're doing a tribute, and I think we've talked about this already before, if you're doing it for a tribute purpose, if you're paying homage, whatever along those lines, but if you start dedicating an entire movie where you're going to just utilize the image of somebody, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we should mention Chris Wallace, the makeup artist.
Yes, definitely.
For the 86 version, because he was an Oscar-winning, the only Oscar the film won. There was buzz. We have to keep using buzz for The Fly. There was buzz that the Goldblum would get nominated for the film, which would have been a big deal because I think the last horror actor to win at that point was Frederick March for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, all the way back, in the 30s. Anthony Hopkins would win for Silence of the Lambs. I think that was the next time that it happened. But yeah, I mean, as far as like a real hardcore monster with the makeup and everything, I thought maybe Goldblum would have had a chance. But Chris Wallace did win. So that was nice to see, because Chris Wallace was involved with so many of the movies that we loved growing up. He designed the Gremlins. He did the face melting makeup for Raiders of the Lost Ark, and he was involved with a lot of the ILM stuff. Did effects for Dragon Slayer and movies like that. So
yeah,
there you go. And it was a Brooks film.
Yes, Mel Brooks, and he purposely did not want his name on it. It was his production company, because he was worried that it would take away from the character of the film. They think it was going to be another Young Frankenstein or something. Yeah, he didn't want that being misinterpreted.
Even though he produced The Elephant Man, also.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah. I was very surprised. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Mel Brooks, I mean, I think we talked about this, and we'll probably wait, but they're doing Spaceballs again.
A sequel, though, right?
That's going to be a sequel. Yeah, and my understanding is it Bill Pullman hasn't been No, not Bill Pullman. No,
wasn't it Bill Pullman? Is he the actor that was in it, or no?
Bill Pullman is in it, but the other actor that is coming out of retirement to be in.
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis, yeah.
Yeah. Both of them, I think, are supposed to be coming back, and Mel's supposed to play Yogurt again. If he makes it, he's up there. But I bet you'll make it. He's close to 100, isn't he? Yeah. Isn't it Daphne in that too? Yeah. I wonder what she's doing. I think she's going to come back also. Yeah, it's not going to be any good. But you know what? The first one wasn't any good either. So I know a lot of people love it, but hey, you know what? What? They snuck Eagle 1 in there, so Space 1999 was represented, so it made the cut. It was no Young Frankenstein. Let's just say that. No, it was not. No, absolutely not. Definitely not. I agree. I think Galaxy Quest was a better sci-fi parody than Spaceballs was. Yeah. And that was we did, Sherry and I did Galaxy Quest, and I forget why you didn't do that. Why we didn't do it? Yeah, because or you guys did it. You two did it. We did it, but you weren't. I must have had to go somewhere or something. And yeah. Special. Oh, maybe it wasn't an anniversary show or something, was it? Was it no significance? I don't know. No, well, that is such a good movie, though. I was probably having I was having a tantrum. I was in my trailer because somebody didn't give me the red M&Ms or something. I didn't like the balls out. I'm not coming on the set. I'm not coming along.
Yeah, and Sherry's saying, yeah, I was waiting for that. Sherry's going, and you didn't tell me Ross wasn't going to be on. Why? Yeah, well, if I had told you, I'd have been doing it solo, and I wouldn't have been Han.
I'm sure it would have been. I'm sure it was pleasant to have the break.
No, you were definitely missing.
Well, there you go. Randy likes Spaceballs. Good for you, Randy.
Bill is saying Spaceballs sequel needs to be called The Wrath of Spaceballs. Shari's saying pressure. No pressure. Bill's saying Spaceballs sequel needs to be called. Yeah, I just said that. And John snuck a comment and said the Abominable Dr. Phillips should be remade with Jim Carrey in the title role, set in an abandoned amusement park with Mike Myers as Dr. Longstreet.
Phantom of Paradise. See, Phantom of the Paradise is a film we could do with Mike and Mary Beth.
There we go.
Yeah, that was an early Brian De Palma movie.
And
what's his name was in it? Paul Williams was in it.
Wow, Paul Williams.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said it was fun.
Oh, good. So this is really like a Kafka-esque thing brought to light. Kafka's big story, the metamorphosis, where the guy wakes up and he's transformed into a cockroach. The Jeff Goldblum version was kind of a take on that, maybe. Except with the love story and and it is interesting. The one thing that got me, like I said, the original one, the 1951 thing, the thing that jumped out at me is she got over it so quickly. I found it a little bit unbelievable. The thing I didn't believe about the 80s version, or one of the things I didn't believe, was that they had to send the baboon out they had to have the testing to make sure that he was okay when he transported, and it's going to take weeks. But she cuts the fly hairs off his back, and she finds out like in 12 hours that they came from an insect, that they're insect hairs.
It's not human.
It's like, well, why didn't you just use that guy to test the baboon? Yeah, obviously she took it to a photomat or something.
Photomat, oh my God. Photomat.
Get the baboon results back in 12 hours.
No, that's a valid point. No, that was my biggest complaint about the original, was that she just seemed all over it. And even with the child, you could say it was, he was in shock and it was a traumatic experience, but it just happened too quickly though with that.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if there was supposed to be some kind of like time lag between, when they were going to arrest her, and then fast forward, maybe like 6 months later, you know what I mean? I mean, that's a possibility. Shari was commenting about that. I wasn't picking up on that, but I could kind of go with that as an excuse. I don't know.
Thank goodness that's over with.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah. So Leslie said, so when are we doing Orca? Don't make me send Gladys after you. Oh boy.
We watched Orca. And then you bailed on us.
No, she had a
all right.
She did.
Okay.
No, it was legit. I
all right. But I don't want to watch it again.
We'll reconvene sometime next summer. We should have done it this summer, Leslie, but we'll do it. We'll come back to it. We'll do it next summer. When it's warmer, because we missed the window.
Yeah, I make her a guest host when I'm busy.
Ross she's going to want you to talk about Orca too, though, Ross. Ross is trying to get out of it.
I saw it in the theater, okay, and I hated it.
Here it comes. Here it. I'm going to.
I hated it in '78 or whenever it was out.
Here, folks. Here it
and
comes.
Then I watched it for the show, and I hated it again. I'm not watching it a third time.
Engineer status report. Our shields cannot handle another attack from Ross.
You're gonna have to bake me a peach pie, and then I'll watch it again.
Bribing the host.
Actually, we're past the peach season again, so I guess I'll have to.
Darn it! If Ross is if he's getting a peach pie, I want one too.
Peach pies for everybody. Then we can have our viewer party, our Orca viewer party.
Sure, like I've heard that one before. Oh boy,
I get such disrespect from Leslie.
And I'm waiting for Randy's quote to come up. And now back.
No respect.
Shari said, "I think the ending of the movie isn't right after his death. I think some time has gone by."
In the first one.
Yeah, the first one we're talking about, because it seems like her and Vincent had a thing going on.
Well, yeah.
Shower scene, lots of laughs.
Well, that kind of cracked me up too, because it was out of nowhere. It's like, you're in love with her, aren't you? Why, yes. Where did that come from?
Shari said, have her guest host. No, wait a minute. Have her guest host.
That's what we would have to do.
And I'll do it with you and her if Ross won't do it.
Okay. No. Is that what she said?
No.
I thought I was off the hook.
Ross thought he had an out. I'm not going to let him out.
I know.
Anyway.
Maybe if you do it, Sherry, I'll bake you a peach pie.
Oh my God, we're just sitting at an all-time low here. Anyway, one thing we did not talk about, Ross. Actually, let me go back. Is actually where do I have it? I don't have it.
I also love that they were sleeping on the fold-out couch in Brundle's loft, because I slept on one of those things. I won't even tell you how many years I slept on one of those things.
Oh boy! In regards to the music, the composers, I guess now Paul Sawtelle. I recognize that name from Lost in Space.
Oh, okay. I'm embarrassed to say I don't know who he is, and I forgot to look him up. So I looked up Howard Shore. I totally forgot about the first movie, the score. I mean, there were romantic, lyrical passages for the love story, but there was some splashy music for the ballet scenes. But yeah, the rest of it was kind of that, tense, 50s horror music, 50s sci-fi horror music. Yeah, I don't know. You'll have to look him up, Roy. I don't know anything about Paul Sawtelle. And where did Bert Schefter come?
You know what? My mistake, Ross. I was saying Paul Sawtelle, and I was thinking Lost in Space. No, I was wrong. But he was known for his 1960s TV series Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, and with Erwin Allen, and his partner in scoring was Bert Schefter, who was involved in this movie. Also scored Allen's 1961 film of the same name, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
There we go.
So there's and I knew the theme from that because he's in the credits for Voyage. So there's that connection with those two guys.
There wasn't Hedison in Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea? He
was. In fact, Erwin Allen wanted Hedison for the movie, but after doing The Lost World with Erwin Allen, he didn't want any part of it. And
oh, really?
So he did not do it, and then went to Robert Sterling for the movie, and then also Walter Pidgeon, who was in the 61 film. But then what happened was, Erwin Allen wasn't giving up, and then he sought Hedison out for the series. And since Richard Basehart, who was, Shakespearean actor, very well respected, was doing Voyage, David Hedison was like, okay, well, I want to work with Richard, and if Richard can do it, I can do it. And he basically, that's why he did Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, was because of Richard Basehart. So there you go. But yeah.
That's the full story.
Well, there's part of the story. And then Howard Shore, you were saying
Howard Shore, I did look up, and I know stuff about him already. So that never mind that Paul Sawtelle stuff. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. I was too busy cramming for the other stuff. I totally forgot to look him up.
I had your back on that one, Ross, just because I recognized his name.
Thanks. Good thing there's an internet. People can just look him up if they're curious.
Yeah.
But Howard Shore did the '86 version, and he was born in Toronto. So there you got a Canadian. Cronenberg was Canadian. The first film was set in Canada, and the second film was set in Canada because they filmed it in Toronto. So you got all the fly business up there. Howard Shore is 78 years old. He's going to have a birthday this month. He was born in 1946. He was originally he was the original music director for Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know that.
75 to 80. That's what I knew him from before he started scoring movies. And so I was like, kind of like, yeah. But he has musical training. He studied at Berklee College of Music in Boston. But when he was younger, he started studying, in single digits. He was like 8 years old or something. And he started playing in bands in his teens. And he met Lorne Michaels, the producer of Saturday Night Live, at summer camp. So this is how his association with Saturday Night Live began. And Lorne Michaels had another variety show he had done before, and Howard Shore worked on that. And then in the late 60s, early 70s, which was before Saturday Night Live, he played in a jazz fusion band called Lighthouse. He was involved with Doug Henning. You remember Doug Henning, the magician?
Of course. Oh, my God. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He passed away?
He did some time ago. But yeah, Doug Henning had a show called Spellbound that that Howard Shore had done the music for. And it's funny, I don't remember, because Doug Henning did the Magic Show, I remember, on Broadway. He did a couple of Broadway things, or a couple of shows anyway, but I saw the Magic Show on Broadway, and I came across the program, because I hang on to everything. Sure. I came across the program not that long ago, and I saw it was produced by Ivan Reitman.
I know that.
The guy who did Ghostbusters, and was involved with Stripes and Animal House. But so anyway, it's such a small world. And Howard Shore, Ivan Reitman, and Lorne Michaels, and Doug Henning. He was the one. Being Howard Shore was the one who suggested the name Blues Brothers for Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi when they started doing the act. He scored all of David Cronenberg's films except for The Dead Zone, which was Michael Kamen, I think. He worked with Martin Scorsese in a couple of movies, including After Hours. He scored Silence of the Lambs. He scored Philadelphia, both for Jonathan Demme, Mrs. Doubtfire, Seven. Of course, Lord of the Rings. He won his Academy Awards for... I think he won 2 for the first film, because he did the score and he did a song with Annie Lennox. Okay. And I think they shared an Oscar for Best Song or something for that. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that series. And then he got an Oscar for the last one, Return of the King. So, he's done well. And he did the theme for the Conan O'Brien Late Show with Conan O'Brien. So when Conan moved to the Tonight Show, he took the music with him. So, I mean, there's some nice... royalties for Howard Shore. He's not hurting. What I also found, my favorite Howard Shore score is for Ed Wood, by the way. Okay. I don't know if you ever saw. Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp and
Johnny Depp and Marlon Landau.
Yeah. It's got all. We're gonna plug in. It's got all theremins and bongos and lounge music sounding score. He did, interestingly, write an opera on the fly. I don't know if you came across this. I knew about it for some time. In 2008, Howard Shore wrote an opera, The Fly. It doesn't use the same music. He wrote an entirely new score for it. And I've always wanted to see it. I've never seen it. If you go on YouTube and look up Howard Shore Fly Opera, there's a making of documentary on there. It's about an hour and a half long, I think. And there are like long stretches of the opera in there, but with talking heads in between. And unfortunately, it looks like it might have been made for German television or shown on German TV. And so every time somebody starts to talk, you get a few seconds of English, and then they start talking over it in German. Oh, okay. You can't really tell what they're saying. But if you search hard enough, you might be able to find the video somewhere. I wasn't able to find it yet, but I'd be interested to see what he did with it. And the first bar of the score and the last bar of the score, I thought, boy, this sounds really grand. It sounded very operatic. He took the first bar and last bar from Madama Butterfly, which you wouldn't recognize. It's just the texture. It's not the melody. It's just the texture of the sound. So it opens and it just sounds like it's going to be an opera for the movie. So
that's interesting.
But I thought I think it's a pretty good score. I never bought it because the movie made me feel so grim.
Right.
I had so many chances to get the Fly at discounted prices, and I never got it. Now I wish I picked it up.
Now,
If anybody wants to surprise me, you can send me a recording.
Did you? Now, I read somewhere that they did like a music for promotional material. There was like a music video, and it was called "Help Me." Did you?
Oh, yeah, that didn't wind up in the movie. Yeah,
it was not, and they were going to put it in the end credits, and then Cronenberg basically felt that it just didn't.
It was a song, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I hate when they put songs in end credits.
And then you can actually hear like part of it, I guess, in the barroom scene that takes place, but it's very, faint.
I watched the trailer for the movie, and I guess the score wasn't done yet because the music bed in the trailer is very 80s synth. It's just all synthesizers, and it's just really bad. But the movie score is pretty good. The other thing we didn't talk about is we talked about the makeup, but how big the transformation was in 80s horror movies, starting with American Werewolf in London back in 81. But it was a thing, and every movie when they did this sort of thing, they had to really, go to great lengths to show you the transformation of the monster. And this whole movie is a transformation movie for the makeup.
No, and it was an amazing in regards to the makeup that was utilized and everything. And I mean, the Academy Award was well deserved. Excuse me.
They keep talking about making a sequel to this, by the way.
I think they were just talking about it as long, maybe about a year and a half ago. They were just talking.
Talking about making a sequel, and Goldblum didn't want to do it. Cronenberg didn't want to do it. Now they both want to do it.
Well, and then Goldblum was even saying he would love to work with Cronenberg again, and and then some of the stories, the ideas that were coming, almost like that, his essence is preserved in the computer, and then maybe reintegrating him because
but too much time has passed now, and I would hate to have him come back as like a computer, as a digital CGI computer generated Goldblum circa 1986 to kind of wrap up the movie once his consciousness comes back to materialize in human form.
Yeah, Shari just commented. She said, "Great show, guys. I got up at
we're gonna go
through 6 hours. Time for bed. Night."
Good night. Enjoy your vacation. Enjoy your stay. Watch out for flies. It's Canada.
Yeah, Canada gets the black flies. Those things are nasty.
I know. They got 2 film versions too.
Yeah. Say goodnight to Mom and Glenn too, Shari. Leslie commented. She said Annie Lennox won for the third movie too.
Oh, it was the third movie. It wasn't the first movie. Then, yeah. So they won the 2 Oscars for the third one. Yeah. I stand corrected.
There you go. But I think overall, very enjoyable. And if you have not seen the original Fly, definitely check it out. It holds up. It's a 67-year-old movie, which is crazy to think.
Yeah.
And it's even crazier is that the remake is 39 years old. Now, one thing we didn't talk about, Ross, and we're not going to go into any depth, but did you see the sequel as in The Fly 2?
Oh, for the one from the 80s? No, I did not. And nobody involved with the original one was involved with that. So
no,
I didn't see it.
Yeah, and Don just put up Fly 2 with Eric Stoltz had a soundtrack I really liked. That was actually it was a really good movie.
The second one was good.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I wonder if Shore did the music. I'll have to look it up. I don't know who did it.
To check that out.
I just totally ignored it because Goldblum and Gena Davis weren't in it, and
they had an actress portraying her, but it was very brief, and she didn't want to do it because her character was going to die.
Yeah.
Thanks, Leslie. So good show, guys. Worker
rules.
See you next time. which goes back to Bill's original comment. What did he say up there? He said, and I kind of passed over it. He said, where is it? Oh, I lost it. He said, Orca seems to be the channel's new Stardust.
It is.
Stardust.
Just like orange is the new black.
There you go.
Orc is the new Zardoz. Oh, there you go.
Voyage Bomb, the
Gary
City
Goldsmith.
Features, and then
Nelson Riddle, Paul Saltel.
There he
Yep.
is. Yep.
Good catch. Good catch.
So anyway, but yeah, definitely let us know what you think, folks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the shout outs. We're gonna wind things down, and I'm just gonna go through those relatively quickly, and then we'll come back for some last minute comments. And let me share the screen. We'll share. Bringing you creative awareness through our shout outs. Now, Mike and Mary Beth, Sci-Fi Distilled, they are on Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Speaking of which, Ross, Eastern Daylight Time, we're going to be turning our clocks back shortly, aren't we? I'm not sure when.
Don't they usually do that after Halloween now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's what, November? So we've got what, another month?
Yeah, because I think when we were younger, we used to do it before Halloween, didn't we?
Yeah.
Isn't this like something George W. Bush did when he was in? They made it later to hang on to the daylight or something, or vice versa. I don't remember what the hell happened.
I don't know.
But I seem to remember it being darker on Halloween than it is. You know,
Yeah.
It doesn't really get dark as early.
So, but anyway, Mike and Mary Beth will be covering next week on Wednesday. That'll be October 8th already. My God. They are doing the top 3 zombie movies and the top 3 zombie TV shows. And they will be covering that on Sci-Fi Distilled. So definitely check our friends Mike and Mary Beth out. And also, just to put it out there too, we do a Halloween crossover. It's been a tradition. We've been doing it. I think this will be we've been doing the show.
It'll be our 5th year, I think.
Well, actually, we've been doing the show. It'll be 5.5 years as of today. Today is our 5.5 year anniversary of this show. It started on April 3rd. So that time.
Half.
Yeah. So it's 5.5 years. However, with that said, this will be, I think, our 6th Halloween
6 crossover
that we've done with them. So we have to get with them and talk about what we're going to be doing. And usually, a lot of times they'll be on our show, and then sometimes we're on their show. Last year we did. Was it Abbott and Costello that we did on their show last year?
Was it on their show or this show? Was it their show?
I forget. I think it was their show.
You might have. I mean, it was Abbott and Costello.
It was Abbott and Costello.
Frankenstein, I believe so. I don't remember what we were dressed as though.
I forget. So
it wasn't the Edgar Allan Poe. It was what the heck were we? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Where were I?
Where was I? I remember.
Anyway, we'll figure it out, and we're gonna work that out. We will let you know whether it'll be. Now I know Halloween Day it will not be. We're not going to be doing a show on Friday the 31st. Ross is going to be tied up. It's Halloween, and also I am going to be a chiller. So if anybody's going to Chiller Theater in New Jersey, I'm going to check that out. So I'll see you then. And that'll be pretty cool. And that'll be 31st. So anyway, just wanted to put that out there. So next, I wanted to give a shout out to our friend Bill Scorado for Countrygate Players. Countrygate is doing their Halloween show, which is going to be Frankenstein, and it is going to be the weekend of October 25th through November 2nd. So it's going to be for 2 weekends, Saturday and Sunday for both. At the website address is www.countrygate.org, or you can go to Bill Scrado's his website for information, which is www.billscorado.com. And if you are in the Belvedere Harmony area of New Jersey, definitely check it out. And also our friend Captain Phil from Captain Phil's Planet, WUSB FM 90.1 FM, Stony Brook, New York. The captain's schedule is on Thursday nights from 4 to 5, and also coming up on now, Captain Phil will be coming on at 9 o'clock to 11:30. So definitely check the captain out. And I also want to give a shout out to my son Ryan for Run by Ryan, Empower Your Run. Rye has a website that you can go to. It is free to register, but there are different levels if you want to actually subscribe. And that is www.runbyryan.com. And then also, Ross, if you could let everybody know what you got going on.
All right, well, Picture Perfect's just about over, but this week it was music for Hitchcock movies, not Bernard Herrmann, other composers who wrote music for Hitchcock films, Franz Waxman, Miklos Rozsa, who else is on that program? John Williams, Family Plot. Anyway, that's just wrapping up now. Sweetness and Light is my light music show. Tomorrow morning, it's a celebration of Barley and the Grape. It's all drinking songs and music about Bacchus. And that's tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern time. And The Lost Chord, that's unusual and neglected classical music. And I'm focusing on Swiss composers this week. I must be in a neutral mood or something. But yeah, it's all music from Switzerland tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on The Lost Chord. I write more about them on my Facebook page. I'll tease them tomorrow on Classic Ross Amico. And you can stream them online at the URL there. But again, I mentioned it at Classic Ross Amico on my Facebook page if there's any confusion. And if you haven't followed the page, I hope you will. And that's it. That's all I got.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ross. And in regards, yes, Neil, thank you very much, Neil. I stand corrected. So if anybody was marking their calendars for Chiller Theater is not Halloween weekend. It is actually, I actually forgot about this. It is the weekend of October 24th, 25th, and 26th, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's for 2020. Yeah, it's actually 2020.
So do we have that week off?
So what's that, Ross?
So are we off that week then? Is that what's going? Are you going that week? Or are you going on
I'm going to probably go either. If I don't go Friday, I'll definitely go Saturday or Sunday. But we're going to do a show that weekend. I just have to figure out when. But no, we'll definitely do a show.
All right.
I just don't know what day yet. So stay tuned. Neil, thanks for reminding me about that. I totally forgot. I spaced on that. But we are not going to be doing a Halloween show on the 31st because Ross is going to be tied up. So maybe we'll do a show that Sunday. We'll see what the schedule brings. Things have been so packed with a lot of stuff going on. In regards to our next show, it will be next Friday, October 10th. Ross and I have to get together and figure out what we're going to be doing. So I don't even know what we will be discussing.
We didn't even come up with something. Remember we used to have Halloween month all sketched out.
I know.
In advance. You would post the schedule at the beginning of the month.
Now, I do want to have on back because she was a wonderful guest, Pamela Ferdin. And Pamela actually had done some, I don't want to say horror films, but she did some kind of, Halloween-ish type of films, and planning on having her back on the show sometime this month. It'll probably be on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. So we'll let you know about that, and stay tuned for that. So, and Ross, you didn't have the opportunity to meet her. She was super sweet, super nice. And yeah. I
remember her from the 1970s TV.
Absolutely. She did so much work, and she has a Facebook page that she runs, and she is so detailed with everything too. And if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. And that's to everybody. Also, I would ask too, if you have not already liked or followed the show on Facebook, please do so, and please share just to get the word out, because it really does help with everything. And also, if you can do that on YouTube as well too, and there is no cost associated with it, so that would be our only request for that. But yeah, this was fun, Ross. This was definitely good. 2 good movies, and we did it within 2 hours. So
and it was rough to cover, actually, not just refer back and forth, but to cover two. I think now that we've done it, though, we have to do all the Universal horror Frankenstein movies in one show. So start watching.
There you go. Yeah. Start reading up on it.
They're boning up. Boning up in the boneyard. Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe how fast the time is going. It's just wow. So anyway, any last words, Ross?
No. This was a rough one.
No, I thought
I think it was entertaining, but it's just like when I realized, because I started jotting things down on this when I was watching the movies.
Yeah.
And that was just my impressions as I was watching the film. And then I had to go and actually read up on the movies. Yeah. And then I had all this stuff. And it's just like,
there's a lot of information.
And I didn't do Paul Sawtell.
That's all good. Yeah. Anyway, I want to thank everybody that's joining us live. Very much appreciated. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you're catching us on the rewind, thank you for watching us on the rewind. We appreciate that as well, too. So everybody stay safe. Have a wonderful week. And we will be back to talk about some cool either movies or TV shows, probably movies, and for Halloween month. And as always, live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good weekend.